Imagine this: a Japanese martial artist fighting alongside Afghan mujahideen in the 1980s, guns blazing, taking on the Soviet army. This isn't a plot from an action movie, it's real life. Today, we are looking at the story of a man who left behind a comfortable life in Japan to fight against oppression. But here's the twist. Why is it that the mujahideen, once considered freedom fighters, are now framed as the villains in global narratives? Let's get this straight. In Japan, the Soviets hated him. In the Islamic world, he was a hero. So what defines a faithful warrior in today's world?
9.11によってアメリカが侵攻するずっと前、アフガニスタンに隊を進め、地域を支配しようとしていたのは旧ソ連軍だった。理不尽な侵略に抵抗するため
It's time to present the facts. Koshiro Tanaka didn't just watch from the sidelines. He was in the thick of it. In the 1980s, he learned the values of Islam and traveled to Afghanistan to fight against the Soviet invasion. Despite popular belief that he was a revert, some people say that he did not accept Islam. But yes, a Japanese man who understood the teachings of Islam joined the Mujahideen and fought in one of the most brutal wars of the 20th century. Allahu A'lam. Now, what kind of man trades a comfortable life in Japan for the chaos of war? Some might call it devotion. Others would call it extremism. Whatever label you give it, he wasn't just a passive follower. He was training fighters. He was using his expertise in martial arts to turn ordinary men into warriors. But the question remains the same. Was this an act of heroism or one of violent extremism? Or can both be true at the same time? Was Koshiro just another soldier? Or was he fighting for something larger? The dignity of Muslims at a time when Islam was under siege. Take a quick look at this video to see who Tanaka Koshiro actually was.
Pada tahun 1985, Tanaka Koshiro, seorang seniman bela diri Jepang, terbang ke Afghanistan. Ia bertekad akan membantu pejuang Afghanistan melawan Uni Soviet. Tanaka merasa perlu melawan Soviet karena menurutnya Soviet sudah merampas kepulauan Kuril dari Jepang. Di Afghanistan, Tanaka bergabung dengan kelompok mujahidin terbesar di sana. Ia mengajari para mujahidin cara bertarung dengan tangan kosong ala karate. Namun, tindakannya dikecam oleh pemerintah Jepang. Selama perang, Tanaka mendapat julukan sebagai samurai Afghanistan, dan ketika perang berakhir, ia kembali mengajar karate di beberapa negara dan menjadi pendukung vokal Afghanistan.
The term mujahideen has become controversial today, but back in the 1980s, these were the people standing against Soviet imperialism. Koshiro Tanaka saw it that way. Here's the thing, they weren't just freedom fighters in the name. These were people fighting against one of the most powerful military forces in the world. And Koshiro Tanaka, a martial artist from Japan, felt compelled to join the struggle. It was his inner calling. Now let's be real. Tanaka wasn't some brainwashed extremist. He was a man driven by a sense of justice, by a desire to stand against oppression. The Soviet Union was the aggressor here, bulldozing its way through Afghanistan. History has it that the Soviet Union displaced millions of people and left devastation in its wake. What would you do if a foreign army stormed into your country, burned your homes, and tore apart your communities? But fast forward today, and what happened? The same mujahideen who were hailed as heroes in the 1980s are now projected as bad guys in modern media. Why? Because the political landscape has changed. The war on terror shifted narratives, and suddenly, anyone who had picked up arms in defense of their homeland became suspicious. But there is more to this tale than just that. Here's where Tanaka's story takes a turn. Today, Tanaka is teaching martial arts across all of Japan. He is admired as a great teacher, and it is considered an honor to be taught by him. He didn't remain a fighter forever. He transformed from a man of war to a man of peace. Tanaka returned to Japan, but not the same man who had left. He now uses his martial arts to teach the importance of self-discipline and peace. His story isn't about rejecting his past, but learning from it. From teaching taijutsu techniques to the use of swords and techniques, Koshiro Tanaka shows it all. Of course, he knows it all. How else did he train the Afghan Mujahid and left his mark in the war to this very day? Tanaka returned home victorious, despite not knowing much about fighting when he first started helping the Afghans at the age of 44. Tanaka adopted the teachings of the old samurai warriors. After returning home, Koshiro Tanaka has devoted his life to teaching karate in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tunisia, Hawaii, and many other places. Today, Koshiro holds martial arts classes and famous shrines, such as the Hikusan Jingu Shrine.
月謝を払って行ってやってるみたいなところがありますな。私は24からずっと今現在まで教えておりますけれども、月謝を一度ももらったことはありません。それは私がまだ修行してるみんなと同じ立場だと思ってるから稽古の中にお金を入れさせないわけです。いろんな身の上相談なんかにもありますように道場がうまくいかない、それはお金が絡んでるからであってその人の技術が語られてないわけですな。その教える先生の人間性も語られてないわけです。習いに来る生徒の人間性も語られてないわけです。
Fast forward to today, Koshiro Tanaka is 84 years old, no longer a fighter, but a martial arts instructor, preaching peace and self-discipline. For years, Tanaka fought alongside, and war has a way of changing people in unexpected ways. After witnessing the horrors of war, the loss of friends, and the destruction of innocent lives, Tanaka began to question everything. Martial arts had always been a part of Tanaka's life, and it is hard to let go of something like that. But now, it has become his way to heal. He has returned to Japan not as a warrior of jihad, but as a warrior of peace. He dedicated his life to teaching martial arts as a path to inner strength and self-discipline.
友達を訪ねてもこの長い刀を預けなければなりません。で、子たちはお城に上がってもどこでも百姓仕事をする時でも
Koshiro Tanaka's transformation isn't just physical, it is spiritual. He believes that Islamic teachings taught him both the importance of fighting for justice and the need for peace. But his past wasn't easy to leave behind. Even today, his name is often associated with his years in Afghanistan. Some hail him as a hero, while others remain suspicious of his motivations. Koshiro Tanaka's story is a powerful reminder that transformation is possible, but it's never simple. It's a journey filled with doubt, pain, and the search for forgiveness, not just from others, but from oneself. So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments.